After the disappointment of losing the cup final in the last episode, today we could have some good news, as a win today would secure our survival in the Premier League. Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco. Today, 2 games for you. Sunderland and Crystal Palace await us, and wins today will ensure our Premier League survival. Since you were last here, when we lost in the Carabao Cup final and had a 1-1 draw with Southampton, things have been alright actually, to be fair. We beat Everton 3-1 straight after that in the league, which was a good win for us, to be fair. We needed that win desperately because we hadn't really won many games in the Premier League this calendar year. In fact, we only won 2 games this calendar year in the Premier League, so that was pretty important for us to get a win against Everton, so we managed to get that. We then came up against Arsenal, who are a much better side than us. We got a lot of yellow cards in that game, but Arsenal in the end did prevail to win 1-0 in that game, but they are like second in the table, so they did deserve to win, to be fair. Then played top of the table in the Championship, Norwich in the FA Cup 6th round. We played a slightly weakened side, but it was still pretty strong. However, they won 2-0. So we're out of the FA Cup now. We couldn't make the semi-finals and couldn't make another cup final this year. So unfortunately, all our chances of getting to Europe this season are pretty much over. Not that we really had a chance anyway. You know, we're never going to get it in the league. It just was quite lucky that we got to the final of the League Cup, and then FA Cup was always going to be a decent run for us. After that, though, we had 1-0 wins over Swansea and West Ham, who are both teams sitting around us in the league, so they were really nice to get wins against teams roughly about our level, I'd say. So it was good to get those. There were 1-0 wins, very narrow either way. Hammer time scoring both actually in the 34th and the 36th minute in those games, basically at the same time in both games. And we managed to hold on in those games to get the wins. I think West Ham were better than us, but I think we were better than Swansea if I remember rightly. But basically, these 3 wins have allowed us to basically secure our safety for next season now. If we look at the league table, when it wants to load itself, but we're sitting in 11th, but we're still not safe yet as things stand. We sit on 43 points. Watford down there in the relegation zone on 30 points. Now, there's a 13-point difference between us. There's 5 games left in the league. And in that 5 games, they could get 15 points. So if we lose every single game, potentially Watford could overtake us. However, if they fail to win today, then we're safe. If we win today, then we're safe. So we just need 2 points, I believe, to secure safety. So that's fine. We should be able to do that, I think. It was also mentioned in the comments a few episodes ago. Someone wanted me to go through every single player and just show the stats. So I'm just going to start with Nicky Reynolds, and we're just going to quickly skip through all these players, basically. If you want to watch and look at a player, then just pause the video, basically. We're just going to quickly go through all these stats here. When we get back to Nicky Reynolds, we'll stop again. But obviously, people are quite interested in how these players, stat-wise, are looking and how much they're developing and things like that. So I thought I'd show you them, basically. I think most of them are, pretty good for this level now. Most players here should be Premier League quality. There's a few guys here that are like Championship quality and things like that. But most of these guys are capable of playing in the Premier League. And however, I think actually looking through it, some of the players that we've got, back to Nicky Reynolds now, some of the players that we've got aren't really cut out for Premier League football, I would say. So we're going to have to make some improvements over summer, but we'll talk about that more next episode. It was also suggested in the comment section that perhaps we start to look at more attacking formations for next season. And I agree, I was thinking that myself. We need to look at more attacking formations for more lower table sides next season. And it's because Sunderland is sitting 19th. We're going to try that out today. We're going to play without the CDM, and we're going to play with Brahim Diaz instead today as that attacking midfielder. So Reynolds starts in goal with a back 4 of De Silva because Masimovic is suspended. Garcia comes in because Kobayashi is suspended as well. A few suspensions there. And we've got no other defenders because obviously Kobayashi is suspended and Tom Buckingham is injured. And then who was the other chap we had? He's gone now. We sold him like in the middle of a few episodes ago or something like that. He went in February, weirdly. Jorgensen, of course, he went to LA Galaxy in February, end of February, because that's when their transfer window is, for £500,000, which was alright because he's useless. We didn't use him, so I was happy to get the money for him. Completing that defence, though, is Jan Valery on the right, who I think we do need to get a replacement for over summer. He's actually capped himself at a 2.5-star rating. For ages, he had 4.5-star potential, but never made any progress towards it, and now has finally settled at a 2.5-star rating, which, as you can see, is only good for most Championship sides. So right backs over summer are going to be a huge improvement we need. Jalapeno and Perrier sit in the middle there, with Yeo, Lukasic and Diaz in the middle, with Hammer Time starting up front after the 2 goals they scored in the previous 2 games. Right, kickoff is upon us, and today, of course, we just need the 2 points to secure safety in the Premier League. Now, as you're watching this, I'm recording this on Wednesday evening. As you're watching this, I'll have probably, well, just come out an exam a few hours ago as Britta Sombalonga scores for Sunderland. That's not the start we wanted. We've done this a few times, actually. Since you've been watching, like, in the past few episodes, the opposition have scored very, very early on in the game. We just don't seem to switch on, which is something we need to work on. As I was saying, though, as you watch this, I've probably only just come out of an exam that I've got. So I spent basically the past week reading texts from the 12th and 13th century on the Crusades, which, while is very interesting, it does make me want to claw my eyes out sometimes after I've been reading documents, and it's all written in like broken English in a way. It's been translated to modern English, but the word order and things aren't what we would read anyway. So it's weird reading it all. You have to really think and try and make sense of it. So it really does take some brain power to get through it all, especially like 26-page documents that I have to read and things like that for this exam. So hopefully the exam will have gone well. If I release a video tomorrow, today, whenever you're watching it, then it probably went well. If there's no video, then well, maybe it didn't go too well. I feel like this video is probably going to be quite edited, because I've just literally been revising for about 3 hours reading this text, and I thought I'd make a video just to unwind from it, but I'm just struggling to do anything right now. I'm saying really weird, there's an example of it, I can't even get my sentences out properly. I'm saying properly weird things. Hopefully though, we'll just sit back, relax and enjoy making this video as Lukasic manages to get on the end of a Brad Yeo cross, another Brad Yeo assist, and Lukasic has been notching up the goals, to be fair. Actually, he must have got a fair few. I think he's in double figures now, Lukasic. He's a very decent player. However, you may have seen it when we were skipping through players, our coaches don't seem to rate him as highly anymore. He's now only got potential of 4 stars, down from that 5-star potential that he did have at some point. So it depends which coach you ask, but most of them now are saying 4 stars, which is a bit worrying, because I had all my hopes on him being an absolute superstar in the future. So right wing is perhaps somewhere we may look to over summer. Another corner for us now as Brad Yeo puts it in the middle. It's been headed clear there, but only as far as Anton Perrier as he comes forward now. Jalapeno on the ball through to Lukasic. Lukasic tries to get past his man but can't really do it, so Jan Valery takes over the ball and he plays it all back to Reynolds, which, I mean, I don't know if that was the best thing to do. I don't know if that was his best option, but he's done it either way. And Reynolds' ball up to the pitch wasn't very good, but we have regained possession rather as we come forward now. Brad Yeo puts it past the goalkeeper, and just before half time, we do go 2-1 up against Sunderland. And as things stand right now, we'd move into 10th position and we would be safe. Also, you may notice here Man United on 84 points. They've already won the league, I think. They've basically won the league. Not quite as early as it was last season. I think they won it earlier on last season, but again, they're just doing absolute bits in this save. They're so good. First highlight of the second half then looks like it's coming towards Sunderland as they have a throw-in their defensive areas now, and they try and play the ball up the field, passing it around nicely, but we're not letting them come up. We've got some decent pressing from our boys now as Gibson on the ball tries to make it clear, and they're finally starting to come forward with the ball, but they're playing it back to Gisman. They're playing the triangles here, but they're playing the triangles right in their defensive third, which is quite dangerous. No wonder they're so far down the table when they're just playing balls around like that. They have managed to get it clear though now as Dembele tries to get on the end of the ball, but De Silva claimed it, plays it back to Reynolds, and Reynolds' ball up towards Yeo hasn't been won, and now Rodriguez has the ball for Sunderland now. We're only 1 goal up, remember, so we are susceptible to attacks as Dembele has been pulled down in the area by Garcia. Garcia not being given a card for that. I don't know why he wasn't, because it looked like he just pulled him down in the middle of nowhere. And Britta Sombalonga makes it 2-2, which, again, isn't part of the plan. We have to get at least 2 points here today to ensure that we are safe next season. No one else is playing it, actually, as well. So, obviously, it does depend on how Watford do. Depends on how Watford do, as Jan Valery is now injured, so Liam Coyle will have to come on as right back. He can play there, which is alright for us. As I was saying though, it does depend on what Watford do. If Watford win and we draw, then we aren't safe still, but if they lose, a draw is good enough for us actually to be safe. Well, we're not really pleased with how the boys have played. We're going to take Diaz off because he's played woefully, and we'll bring Mason Mount on, and actually I think we take Hammer Time off and bring Chummer on. As I've made those changes though, there is a highlight as Sunderland come forward, although Williams makes a decent tackle. However, it's not gone far enough for us to be out of the clear as Dembele, out of nowhere, makes it 3-2 Sunderland. which really wasn't part of the plan. Of course, Sunderland's still fighting for survival down there. If they get a good run of form going toward the end of the season, they could actually stay up. So it's not all doom and gloom for Sunderland. They're fighting for their lives right now, whereas we're pretty safe. And to be fair, I haven't really got anything to play for. Right, we're just going to go up to overload fluid. And we're also going to shout demand more from our players, because we should not be losing a game like this. Sunderland are a team that we should be picking off. Our last 2 games, we beat Sunderland and West Ham, who are both above us actually. So we can beat teams better than us. But apparently today, we've succumbed to Sunderland, who, for whatever reason, are better than us right now. We've got a moment though in the final 2 minutes of the game, although we've just given the ball away completely. Now Sunderland probably have a chance to come forward now, as Dembele's been put through. And Dembele makes it 4. I mean, this really is a poor showing now, actually, from the boys. We started off relatively brightly. I mean, we went 1-0 down, but we fought back and got 2 goals. I thought we'd just consolidate there and keep it, but no. We've been absolutely woeful, and there goes a full-time whistle. Sunderland fully deserved their win today. We've been awful. Jan Valerie's out for a little while, actually. Could be out for the rest of the season, 3 to 4 weeks. I'll have to send him out there. Hammer Time's out with a bruised head for a little while as well. So it looks like Chummer may start next game, and Liam Coyle is going to have to play right back for the rest of the season. Watford's next game is against Fulham, who are bottom of the table today. So actually, I kind of back him to win that. So we may have to wait until the Crystal Palace game to actually ensure our survival. The game's being played right now. Quickly in the comments, score predictions. Oh, fair play. Fulham won 2-1, which I reckon that does confirm. They can only get 12 points now, can't they? So that means 42, which means we are safe, I think. We've had no official confirmation of this. Like, nothing in the news has come through, but like I'm pretty sure we're safe. I don't think it makes a big song and dance about it though, on the grounds that it wouldn't normally. If you're in the playoffs, it wouldn't say, oh, you're now safe, would it? So I think it only makes a big song and dance out of it if you're actually in a relegation fight, where we're not. Oh, Josh De Silva's picked up an injury as well midweek, which isn't good, because I feel like Masamovic is... Oh, he's actually back now, which is alright to be fair. He's back now from a suspension. I thought he was suspended for another game, which would have been a disaster, because then we have no left backs. Now, it's been long enough for me to ask for a new stadium. We asked for one at the start of this season, thinking the ball would give it to us. We're in the Premier League. We've increased our reputation massively. Surely we're going to get a new stadium. And they said no. So basically, I think we can ask now, build a new stadium, because I do want one. We've got nearly 70 million in the bank. We can pay for one. We're going to ask for one now. What I'm going to say is, I'd like a new stadium to be built to show this is the modern, forward-thinking club. Oh, to be fair, they've actually said yes, we're going to start looking into that idea. So, a new stadium on the horizons. What are they going to say about it so far? Literally nothing. I mean, what they have released is they're now making plans. The plans of which are going to take over a year to get done. So we're going to have to wait a long time. Capacity, 24,000. That is... I was expecting more, if I'm being honest with myself. I was expecting more. I had one built once where it went to 40,000 or so with Lincoln. Although I can't remember if that was 40,000 off the bat or 40,000 after some expansions. Excitement stuff though. We are going to get a new stadium, which is pretty cool. So that's now in the works. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully it'll be named after me, but you never know. It could be named after someone else. New stadiums in Footall Manager are always named like after the club itself. So it could be like the Lincoln Stadium. They're named after you if you're doing really well, or they're named after other club legends. So in Lincoln's case, the club legends are Keith Alexander and Grant Brown. I don't think there's anyone else. No, just these two. So before, I've had a new stadium built, and it was named after Grant Brown, and it was called Brown Park, which is possibly the worst name for a stadium ever. Right, game against Crystal Palace then. This formation didn't work out too well last time out, so we're going to bring Diaz back. We're going to have to play Liam Coyle at right back if he wants to get himself on the pitch, which means that Declan Rice has to come on for Diaz in that CDM role. Masovic can come back on a left back, but Kobayashi is still suspended, so he can't come back on the pitch. Jan Barry's got to come off the bench, and who's going to come on the bench for him? It's not like we've got a lot of choice, really. Really, it's no choice. It's Dragomir or Stainsbury or an injured Buckingham, and no one's looking particularly fit. So we'll bring Dale on for now, but there's no reasoning behind that. Right, kick-off is upon us. We're kicking off at home today. Crystal Palace sitting just below us in the table by a point. So obviously at this stage of the season, we want to try and finish as high as possible. If we beat the teams around us, that's good. Obviously prize money comes into this quite a lot now. There's a lot of prize money, and it does differ by like 2 million per place, by a lot. So if we could finish as high as possible, that's like an extra 2 million. If we beat Crystal Palace today, we could be getting an extra 2 million in prize money because of it. If we lose, we could be losing 2 million in prize money, if you get what I'm saying. I'm impressed with our goal difference, to be fair. We've kept it in the positives. We're +6 goal difference, and for lots of teams around us, that's not been a possibility. Swansea are on +8, and then after that, it's those top teams that are on the plus lots of whatever they are, loads and loads and loads of goals. So to be one of the few teams outside of that like top 7 sort of thing that have got a positive goal difference, I'm very pleased with that. We've obviously kept a decent defence and had a decent attack, so things have worked out for us. It's just that we've lost and drawn too many games really in narrow defeats and things like that. Reynolds then punts the ball upfield towards Hammer Time, who does win it actually. Jalapeno now on the ball. Yeo can come forward with it now. Yeo, in what could be one of his last appearances for the club, puts it onto Hammer Time's head, who hits the post. Very, very unlucky there. But yeah, Yeo, I'd love to get him back next season, of course, but I just don't think United are going to let me have him. The way he's played this season, he's got European Golden Boy. He's going to the Man United first squad next season, I reckon. There's a slim chance we could get him, I think, but like 1 or 2% out of 100%, something like that. So don't expect to see him back next season, but we'll talk more about that next episode. First half though, we've been pretty dominant over Crystal Palace. They've only had the 2 shots so far, and it looks like we could have another chance coming forward now as Perrier plays it towards Hammer Time, who gets past his man into the box, has a shot, but the goalkeeper does manage to get on the end of it, which is not what we wanted. Crystal Palace now with a chance right before half time, but their cross has been cleared, and now Hammer Time has a chance to come forward. He's not got much support with him, but he doesn't need it as he just runs past his men, but he's shot off target, and that's 9 shots now, but only 2 on target. We've been pretty wasteful with our chances in this first half, so we may come to rue that when Crystal Palace score like a 90th minute winner or something like that, and we've missed so many chances that have been pretty good chances as well. Masovic clears the ball only as far as Yeo though, and Crystal Palace can actually come back on the ball now with Ndidi, but Yeo makes a decent tackle. Hammer Time coming forward once again out towards Lacazette, who puts a great ball into Brad Yeo, and Brad Yeo on the stroke of half time puts Lincoln 1-0 up. Moves us back into 10th position as well. I think we had dropped down to 11th or something like that, but we do move ahead of Stoke now on goal difference, so a 10th place finish would be incredible considering we thought we'd be the lower part of mid-table, like 12th, 13th, 14th, something like that. We've got a chance now to come forward now as Lacazette holds the ball up and now trying to come forward with it out towards Coyle. Coyle cuts inside, plays it towards Hammer Time, makes a great ball too, and actually Hammer Time off the post there, just into the side netting I think. He's coming close, but he doesn't get as many shots as I'd like on target. He doesn't get himself central enough, I don't think. He likes to cut inside and take his shots from quite an acute angle. I prefer if he just got himself a little bit more central. I think that's the downside to having a one-striker system though. I think they do like to play more across the pitch rather than a more narrow channel. I think if we had 2 strikers playing a more narrow style, that probably would have been a bit better, and we get more chances and score more goals like that, I think. Maybe that's what we do next season. Maybe we do just go for a bit more narrowness next season and try and get a few more goals like that, playing quite a narrow formation. Maybe like a 4-3-1-2, something like that. For the final 10 minutes, Chummer is going to come on the pitch to replace Hammer Time, who hasn't played very well at all, to be fair. Who else are we going to take off? We need to give some rest to some players. Midfielders are looking a little bit tired, so is Williams, but we haven't really got anyone to bring on defensively, so we won't bring anyone defensively on. Mason Mount there will come on for Perrier, and that's the only change we'll make right now. 14 shots we've had, but only 3 of them have been on target, and I can just feel it now. Crystal Palace coming forward will have 1 shot on target in the whole game, and then they'll equalise or something like that. But Chummer actually incredibly gets into that ball now, comes forward himself, has his shot, and the goalkeeper is forced to make a decent save there. I have promised Chummer first team starts, and I've forgotten to start him, so he's going to get angry with me now actually. So I think for the last 3 games of the season we'll just start him ahead of Hammer Time. I'm sure Hammer Time won't mind for the last 3 games of the season, and we do need to keep Chummer next season because he's a decent backup player. I think I've neglected him this season and not played him as much as he probably should play, but he has been a fantastic servant to the club and knows where the goal is, to be fair, when he does play. So hopefully he won't move on in summer. If someone does offer a decent amount of money for him though, of course we'll take it. Every player's got their price, but I think he's a great asset to the club. He's a good Premiership player, as Reynolds collects the ball from that cross and Lincoln win 1-0. It was dominating, but not convincing in terms of our actual attacking play there. But fortunately, Brad Yeo's goal on the 46th minute was enough. Right, there's only 3 games left this season, so the next episode is just going to be the Chelsea game, and then we're going to talk about the squad this past season and what we need to do over next summer to try and break into that top 10 properly. If you've enjoyed today's episode, then please do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco action.